Today, the first of far too many funerals in a small community, forever changed by tragedy. It was 3 painful days ago that 20 young children and 6 adults were killed by a lone gunman inside a Connecticut elementary school. The mass shooting that sent shockwaves of grief across the country. As the families of the victims prepare to say their goodbyes, ABC's Juju Chang reports from Newtown, Connecticut. Juju?
Cynthia, Sandy Hook Elementary School is closed again tomorrow, and when the children do return, it'll be to an altogether different campus. Meanwhile, this tiny New England town is now covered with growing memorials like this one. They begin to take on the feeling of a sacred site as people make pilgrimages from all over for some silent reflection as a nation undergoes a moment of soul searching.
Under a cold, steady rain, a wave of communal grief continues to wash over Newtown. Memorials growing in sets of 20 for the children. 20 Christmas trees, 20 poinsettias, 20 angels. Today, the first funerals in a town whose faith is being tested in ways it could never have imagined. For 6-year-old Jack Pinto, a huge New York Giants fan whose favorite player paid tribute on his cleats. And Noah Posner, whose twin sister survived in another classroom.
May their souls be bound up in the bond of life eternal.
Rabbi Shaul Praver struggled to find the right words at the prayer vigil last night for a nation that paused to join Newtown in mourning. Today, a much tougher task, a eulogy for a 6-year-old. As a woman collapsed outside in grief, the rabbi inside tried to find words to comfort Noah's grieving mother.
I whispered to her, and I looked at her without flinching, and I said, I personally believe in the eternity of the soul.
And did Noah's family respond to that?
Yes, that was helpful to her. At the end, she released blue and white balloons into the sky until we couldn't see them anymore. And that was a good symbol, to let it go. She said, go my son into the blue skies, go my son into the green pastures.
Krista Ricos is planning her daughter's funeral for tomorrow. Jessica, who loved horses and orcas, was devoted to her 2 younger siblings and left behind an unexpected gift, a diary.
I just opened the book and it was exactly what I needed because it says, I love you so much, Mama. Love, Jessica, with a little heart. And it was like she was, telling me that she's watching us and she knows how hard this must be for us and she wants to know how much she loved us and she knows how much she was loved.
Others are telling harrowing stories of survival.
They were sitting there, and I had no idea why they were there.
A neighbor found 6 children huddled at the end of his driveway and took them in. They'd been in Vicky Soto's first grade class.
And these 2 boys kept saying, we can't go back to school, we can't go back to school. Our teacher's dead. Mrs. Soto, we don't have a teacher. And I couldn't believe it.
The school nurse told ABC's George Stephanopoulos how she crouched under her desk and held her breath.
While you're under there, you actually see the feet of the shooter?
I could see him from the knees down, see the legs.
Right in front of you.
20 feet away, facing his feet, his boots were facing my desk.
And then he turned and walked away?
And then it was seconds, and then turned to walked out, and I heard the door close.
Schools in 5 states, including nearby Ridgefield, Connecticut,
right around. It's closed.
On lockdown due to heightened suspicions, as many districts fast-track new security plans.
Please stay in lockdown mode until you hear an all-clear announcement.
Sandy Hook Elementary School was closed today. No one knows when students will return or even if they'll go back. But some were able to put it all out of their minds just for a little while.
Kindergarten through 2.
Lacrosse players from New Haven University volunteered to help lift the kids' spirits.
Just brightening up their day kind of makes them forget about it for, 3-4 hours. That 3-4 hours they were playing, having fun, tackling me, just being kids.
A chance for the kids to enjoy the kindness of strangers after witnessing the worst of humanity.
Once we all started playing and the kids, you could see they lit up,
And they wanted to play.
They wanted to play, and it was nice to see a smile on their face.
There's hope that, the soul lives on.
And for Rabbi Praver, the tough task of explaining to the faithful where the evil that struck last Friday comes from.
I don't believe that God did this. I believe that a crazy man did this. The meaning in it, is not trying to understand, why God does something. Somehow we got here. We have to not necessarily always look towards God, but look towards humanity and say, what is it that we've done that has created this environment?
The clergy of this small New England town say that the horrors of last week have helped bond people together spiritually. Rabbi Praver's words for all of us are the same he delivered today at Noah's funeral.
You don't live your life taking anything for granted. You hug your children more. You become ever present to the fragility of life, and you live life fuller.
For Nightline, I'm Juju Chang in Newtown, Connecticut.